All right. Why don't we go ahead and get started, and we'll just kind of let folks in as they join us. But welcome to another wonderful session of Tech Club here at Lawrence Public Library. My name is Kathleen Morgan. I work here at the library, and I'm here with my colleague Laurel Lewis.
That's me.
Can't talk. Who is the coordinator for our retroactive program. So we're really excited to welcome Katie Simmons, who is the digital collections librarian at the State Library of Kansas. Some of you have been in our program. We've done several of these programs to talk about the digital resources that Lawrence Public Library has. And I'm going to share my screen. When you, let's see. Yeah, when you go on the website, the Lawrence Public Library website, this is the kind of obviously the home screen, and you go to the digital library, which is under Browse and Borrow, and you hit that. We've gone through these links on a couple of different classes where we cover Libby and LinkedIn Learning, etc. And you get down here, and there's this button that says Kansas State Library. And we have never had the time to like do a deep dive into just this one link, which is just like a whole nother, like pull back the curtain and find a huge treasure trove of unbelievable resources. So that's what we're going to do today, is kind of check that out. And I wanted to, somewhere in the depths of my desk, you need to have, in order to use the resources on this Kansas State Library website, I'm going to stop and show you this. You need to get a Kansas Library e-card, which is separate from your Lawrence Public Library card. If you go to the accounts desk at the library, at Lawrence Public Library, and ask them for a Kansas Library card, woo, that's kind of what it looks like. It's this yellow thing. And that will give you kind of an account number and the keys to the kingdom to access a lot of the ebooks and e-audiobooks and other resources on the State Library website. So the folks at the accounts desk wanted me to, I guess, make it clear that this is a completely separate card from your Lawrence Public Library card, and we don't keep like records on what your account number is or anything like that with the state. You need to contact them directly in order to, if you run into any sort of issues, which I have done. I've had to email them, and they're super responsive and are really easy to work with if you ever run into something like you can't figure out how to access your account, or you just need some help along the way. They are a wonderful resource. So if you do get your Kansas State e-card and you do run into issues, don't hesitate to ask them for help, because they are really wonderful people to work with. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Katie, who's going to share her screen and kind of start the ball rolling on telling you all about all the wonderful things you can find through the State Library.
Right. All right. So for my side, when you go to the State Library, you can use the link on that Kathleen showed you on the Lawrence website, or you can go to library.ks.gov, and it'll take you to this website. And then you'll see the pretty golden sunflower in the scrolling pictures, and you'll know you're in the right place. On this page, it just kind of gives an outline of everything that we have. So each different thing. So Talking Books is a state program. The government information. We have links just for librarians, and we're going to focus on the databases and digital books. We're going to start with the digital books. There we go. All right. So with the digital books, we do have our contact us information in a box. It has the 800 number to call the state library. If you click the email link, that will send an email to not only myself but everybody, the other two people in statewide services. And then there's a blue link right here that says form. And if you forget that 6-digit e-card number that you got from the reference desk at Lawrence, you can fill that out. You're able to, you can also call Lawrence and they should be able to look that up for you as well. And then so let's go into some of the digital books. The first one on our list is BookFlix, which is for the pre-K to third grade readers. So if you have somebody who has low reading skills or kids, grandkids, I clicked on it. It's going through a validation process, but with this one, you should be able to get to this screen without using that e-card. And then when you click start, it shows you that there's different themes, and then what it does is it pairs a picture book with a non-fiction book on the same topic. So, and then so the picture book is going to be a video of it, and then the nonfiction is going to be a read along, not quite so video. And then with them, there's different puzzles and other things to build on the story. Let's go back to the main page there. For pre-K, well, pretty much our whole school age, we also have Britannica Collective, which I like just exploring because it is mostly nonfiction. And with this, you also don't need that e-card. So there's different versions of the books, but there's the, like, say you want to teach about coins and money. The economics one would be the one to click. I'll click in one of the books, and so you'll get this message that says that you have to be a registered user to keep any of the bookmarks, highlights, notes, and other things. But you'll click OK, and you'll still have the book. And with this, you use the arrows up at the top, and you'll just scroll through, click that button, and it just takes you through the book. Okay, not too far. All right, and then we have our Kansas history books, which is a selection of books that are just about Kansas, towns, history of Kansas, counties, just different books there. So if you want to know about the Civil War in Kansas, you'll click here. It gives you some information, and when you click read, it'll come up, hopefully, on the screen, and then you'll use the blue arrows on the side to go through. And then with this, you can adjust the text, the background color, because sometimes, like right now, that's almost too small for even me to read, but I think that is the bigger font. So we can just kind of click through and read. There's, I want to say 93 different books on this platform with the history books. And then we also have Comics Plus. So that's manga, Japanese style drawn books, comic books, and then graphic novels. So novels that are pretty much made in the same style as graphic novels. And we have five different groupings for that. We have for mostly for public libraries. For the children, we have so this is the children's one is for 3 to 14 years old. And then for the school age, we have an elementary, a middle school, and a high. And then this main one up at the top is the entire collection. So it's those four and also adult level things. And so this is going to be the very first one that I'm going to show you that you will need your e-card for. Since we're viewing my computer, I have my information already saved in here. So this top one is you'll put that 6-digit e-card. On that card, it'll show you how to put your password in. For the e-card, the password is always going to be your birth date with 2 digits for the month, 2 digits for the day, and 4 digits for the year. No slashes or dashes or spaces in there. So it'll just be 8 consecutive numbers. And then you'll click log in. And then it's just a world full of comics and just manga and everything. And then when we click in, so with this, since I'm on the computer, it's going to tell me what I need to do to be able to move. I can use the keys on the keyboard, or I can use the mouse, and depending on which side I go to, there's a gray arrow that'll take me through. So to close that, and then we'll just scroll through. Sometimes it will show up white. It's probably just a blank page. Hopefully, if it seems like there should be something in there, that's one thing that you might want to email us about. But with Comics Plus, there we go. I mean, there we go. So they set all the features, and we got the popular tab. That's just like what are most people reading? There's little cuties like Milk and Mocha. I would say there's pretty much something for everyone on Comics Plus, especially if you do the all ages platform. But what I consider our main digital book platform is Cloud Library. Cloud Library holds like the bestsellers, the popular authors, publishers. You can have up to 10 books out at a time. When you click on the link, you'll get to here, and then the login is way over here in the corner. And so once again, 6-digit card number for the card ID, and then that password that I told you. And when you log in, and at this point, nothing will really change, but we have all these shelves. So everything that has been added recently will be in the new editions. And then as we scroll down, they break up a bit. We have adult books. So as you can see, that's where Nora Roberts is, Clive Cussler, Badalchi. We have our books in Spanish. And then we get into the YA, the kids. And as we go down, we also have different themes. So all the Christmas, Kwanzaa, and Hanukkah are going to be in 'Tis the Season. It's I can't remember what the actual what December is. It's like illness month or something like that. So we have this, which can be books that the main character has an illness, or it could be like a health book type of thing. It's also National Impaired Driving Prevention Month, so books about drunk and drugged impairments. We have books that have won awards, books that have been turned into movies or TV shows are going to be in here. And then we have our popular audiobooks and ebooks. And we just keep going. There's so many different shelves.
There's a couple of questions for you.
Yes.
One, just in regard to the Kansas State Library card, how often do they need to be renewed?
Every 3 years.
Okay. And is that something where you're prompted to renew it online, or do you have to just go in, or how does that work?
If you have an email on your account, with the State Library eCard, you'll get a notification. But if you don't, you kind of need to remember. What I can do, I'm gonna log out, and I know a card is expired. I can show you what that would look like, at least here on Cloud Library. So when I go, ooh, it should not have let me in.
Uh-oh.
We'll have to have a talk. But
Yeah.
it should give you a notice, like especially on Cloud Library, that your account is not currently active. And so let's see.
Yeah, because like today I went onto my account and it asked me to verify my card, and I don't know if that's the same thing or not. Like I had to just, key in all my not all the information, but the basic stuff, like the account number and my password.
Sometimes they will verify if you haven't been on for a while.
Yeah.
It may have to do that. If you're using the app on your phone, it may have to do with a update to the app that it needs to re-verify as well. But the form for if you forgot your eCard number, that's also the form that you can send to us to renew, but you can also call Lawrence or any other really public library can look up your information and renew it as well.
Okay. And then a question regarding like Cloud Library, or does that work like, I guess either like Libby or Hoopla? Like, do you get instant borrowing, or do you have to wait in line for it if somebody has it checked out?
You will have to wait. It
Okay,
is a one at a time.
Okay, so that's like Libby is one at a time.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like if you wanted this Janet Ivanovich,
Mm-hmm.
when you I mean, I can put it on hold, but but yeah, it's gonna ask if you want notified. Um, but then you go into my books, and so this account, I don't have anything currently out. You can see your history. This is everything I've checked out on this
Okay.
account. And then when I go to my holds, it tells me, yes, it'll be 5 months.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And let
But
me just say, I bought a whole bunch of more copies of that just this morning.
okay.
So,
So that
but I
hopefully the wait
think,
will be a little bit
yeah,
less.
based on state budget and everything, we try and keep that at 6 months or less.
Okay.
As well. So if it's a really popular book, if it's like the David Badalchi, a Daniel Steele, this Janet Ivanovich type, those types of really popular books, they may be on hold for a while.
Okay. And then we had another question. It said these books either have a blue picture of headphones or a red picture of something like a book. I assume the headphone means you will listen to it. Does the red picture mean that you literally read it?
Yes. So the blue is with the headphones means it's an audiobook. So yes, it's just to listen to. Let me see. I don't know. I don't think, yeah, there's no wait list on this. So when I open it, and yes, I picked a kid's book that's in Spanish, but it's one that I knew probably wouldn't be checked out. So it has its own viewer to read the book. Okay. Um, and I don't know why it's not coming up. There we go. So with this viewer, there's the arrows down at the bottom to move forward and backward in the book. So, but yes, so like an audiobook, no, do I go back to my book, see if there's anything that can just currently be borrowed? Okay. Oh, there we go. Choose an audiobook. When you've borrowed it and it's ready to listen, it'll have the listen. But to answer the question that I just saw come into chat, it is the Cloud Library has its own audio inlay. So their Libby and Cloud Library are not interlinked at all. So through here, one thing to know is it does say chapters up here. Each of the tracks may not coincide with an actual chapter.
So I know there's a Cloud Library app that you can download. Does the Kansas State Library have an app or no?
The state library itself does not have an app.
Okay.
But the state library, I'm trying to remember if, let's see. So at least for Cloud Library, they're on that digital books page has the link to
Google Play.
Google Play and Apple Store for this. And then you'll log in the same way. With the app, it'll have you select your country, your state, and then a library. And for Cloud Library, it is the State Library Kansas - Capital or something like that. So, I mean, Cloud Library, definitely, a lot of people use, their tablets, they use their phones to, to, to view and listen to Cloud Library. And like this says, each book checks out for 21 days. You'll have a renewal option as long as no one else has a hold on it. Otherwise, you have to go back into the holds list. And so, yeah, so everything can be done just in Cloud Library for everything Cloud Library.
Yeah, because even things like I have my library card in Cloud Library in the app, and it'll even bring up your barcode for when you're in the library and you want to, check out books at the self-check machine. You can use that instead of like your keychain card or anything like that. Jack Altman has a good tip. I put my Kansas State Library card number into Libby along with all my other cards, and that way when the book comes up, when I search, wherever it is available soonest, including the state library. So it lets you know if you
Oh,
can get it
wow.
earlier in Libby or at the state library. So that's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's
Hey, go Jack.
awesome. All right. So I guess, are there any other questions on the ebooks? Because I think we're about ready to switch over to databases.
Anything else out there? And if you think of something along the way, just pop it in the chat and we can
Yes.
address it.
Okay. So sometimes with our databases, I'm going to just start off with this. When you go to click on one of your databases, you may get a page like this. Something is telling our system that you're not in Kansas for some reason.
Oh,
I know that when I'm on my phone, especially, and I'm just using my data plan, it'll say that I'm in like Pittsburgh or Minnesota somewhere or Texas, and that would make it so this is pretty much the main, other than those digital books, why you would need that state library e-card. And so with the same login that we've done that we did with Cloud Library and Comics Plus, that 6-digit number. Let's see if it'll actually give me that warning on this one now. Okay. So yes, so it told me that there was something wrong with that card. So we'll use my other one. And so if you do get that screen, this is what it's going to look like, which is very different from the actual web page. And it just kind of gives the name. It has our audience, our K through 12 options first, then just general reference, and then it's broken down into topics, business, Spanish, genealogy, government, health and wellness, which would be the health and wellness one is more for individuals. We have our librarians and teachers, and then the nurses and doctors are going to be the more technical, medical technical options, the science and technology. And then in here, you also do have the digital books and then also our learning platforms. But assuming you are not having issues, you will, on this page, I like I like the main page better because it actually gives you a little bit of information about each one. I personally, when I'm just starting a search, I'm not really necessarily looking for something in particular. I will come to the, or where is it? The general research under subject. And I will use Explora. Explora has a very simple interface. It searches multiple databases all at once. So when we click in, sometimes I just like to click in because it has these popular topics. So some of this is some of them are very seasonal. So this ghost one would be more from late October. We have some about Major League, and there's Major League Baseball, and then other different groups. If there's certain topics that you want to explore and you know that general heading, you can click into that. So if you're really a history buff, want to learn everything about history, when you click in here, then it breaks it down even more. Do you want, what part of history do you want? But then you can also do a simple search. Up here you have, this is when I clicked, let me show you again. The blue text that says all databases, if I was to do a search right now, it would look for everything that the state library can get as full text in 25 databases. So if you know that you really want like high-end college level peer-reviewed sources, you might want to get rid of like newspaper source or even like the vocational search or things like that. So you can, with this, you can also decide which ones you want to use. But with this, you can just do a general search. Like, I didn't think about what to search. But you want to search on US elections. Probably spell out United States instead of US. And then it'll give you so a general search, or it wants to tack on that 2024. And when I clicked on that specific one, it's now in here. So there's just, I personally like to also make sure it's peer reviewed, so it's as much knowledge as everybody knows. But full text means that you're going to be able to see the whole thing just right here in Explora. So I just chose the very first article. With this, I believe I clicked the PDF. So with that, you can save items, but you have to create an EBSCO host to keep that bookmark to be able to get back to it. They have several styles for citations if you need those. One of the biggest things that I used it for when I was getting my master's was the headphones over here, and it's just a machine read standard voice. I guess I should say, that reads it. And so with this, you can just scroll through, fast forward, rewind, change the volume and the speed, and then you can also download the MP3. So you can download it, listen to it later. So personally, that's why I like Explora, is it searches everything. And right now I'm in all results. If I just want articles and journals, I can click that. If I want ebooks, there are some ebooks that are through EBSCO on here. And then if we just want videos, for this particular topic, there are no videos, but if there were, for whatever you're searching, would be down below. Now, if you do know what you do, you know what you want, like you really want to look into genealogy. Genealogy right here under the all subjects. We have Fold 3, which is mostly military. We have Genealogy Connect, and we have Heritage Quest. And then these others are just kind of tie in to genealogy. But when you go into, let's go into Genealogy Connect. There's the different collections in here, just kind of where you want to look. So want information on the Caribbean islands, there's some on that. And then these pretty much will read like an ebook type of on the screen, but you can increase, decrease font size. You can have it read to you. You can send it to your Google Drive, your Microsoft OneDrive, email it to yourself, or download and print. Pretty much everything in this product. If you really were more looking for family, build your family tree, I think Heritage Quest would probably be your best bet. You can just do like a very simplified, enter your grandmother, grandfather, and find stories about them, but usually you're going to hit that begin search. I was looking for something earlier, and for somebody who had called, and the census search was pretty amazing. I went and I was searching, I clicked 1950, and I typed with this to first and middle names, last name, who that person's father was, like pretty much the more information you can put in here, the more exact it's going to be. But in doing this search, I found that my grandpa was a logger. And looking at this, and it's like he passed away a month after I was born, so I never knew him. But I found out, all the stories I'd ever heard about him, he was just a farmer. And so to know that he was part of the logging industry was very interesting to me, because that's nothing I'd ever heard of. So just lots of different things to look at through there. And then we're always looking at health. So, there we go. our health and wellness. There's a lot of different health books, well, health databases. The main one that we do send people to is this Consumer Health Complete. And so we'll go into that and look. I believe, yes, this is also part of EBSCO, so it's going to have that same look that Explora had with how to do things. Going to have these popular topics and a display. So, so just lots of different topics, since this group is of the age group you are. I did click health of older adults. So just different, this one is like exercise. So just different articles that are about exercise. So the topic overview for this page is how exercise can affect your mental health. And then this group actually has some ebooks that are attached to it. And then also has some videos for this. It looked like it was mostly, yeah, tummy tucks and things, but just different things to go and view and look at. The last, I think, based on the time, I think the last one I'm going to take you to, if I can get back to the database page, is called Issues and Controversies. So I'm actually going to just click this I and click into it. And this database is kind of unique. It gives a view of, like over here, you can see pro-con articles. Most, if not all of these articles are going to be presented from at least two different viewpoints. It's not going to have should be as unbiased as possible to view what kind of helps see what's going on in the world. Let's see, I don't know. So let's just say we want to look at education in schools. That was one of the subjects. But then it gives us a lot of different results from that. So different things that we can look at. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think we had talked about,
Yeah.
at least for like, if you have a grandkid or a kid who's a high school debater.
Oh, yes.
This would come in really handy in terms of getting information.
Definitely.
Or if your siblings coming into town and you want to start a conversation, you'll be ready with whatever it is you want to talk about.
Yes. So I clicked on academic tenure. I know that there's been debates on whether professors should be able to have tenure or not. So, but it's like this one's about online education. And so it kind of gives an overview of what the supporters' argument for online education is versus this opponent argument. And so when we go into the article, So it gives that, you can see when you click that, it gives you the majority of their sources. The article itself is text. I don't, oh, there it is. The read aloud function, so you can have it read to you. I believe that is, yeah, it's a once again, a machine, one.
But
A
in terms of
machine,
that
yeah,
adaptive stuff, I mean, it looks like a lot of
yeah,
these, you can get an audio version if you need it.
yes.
Yeah.
I know accessibility is one of the biggest things that our database vendors and the state library have been talking about trying to get the most adaptive as possible. I mean, technology as wonderful as it is, still has its own limitations. So, yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't
So
know.
much out there.
Yes, so much out there. So much. I mean, in total, I want to say our general databases. We have over 60 of them. I mean, so like Agricola right here is just on agriculture. And there's just a lot. And so, yeah. And then even not here on the database page, have that email, have that phone number. We're pretty much, you should be able to get a hold of someone here at the state library between 8 and 5 on non-state holiday days. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Is there?
We have like going back to your genealogy
Yes.
databases, there's a question that says, and this is more of a why, like, is there a way to find out like where I could find out why my grandparents came from Germany? I mean, I know there's
Oh,
stats and stuff, but I don't know if there's any, are there, where would something like that turn up? That might be
oh,
a taller order because it's not
that.
just like you're on a ship manifest, or something like
Yeah.
that.
I don't know, unless they can find, unless that's something that I, I don't know, if you can find like their citizenship papers or
Mhm.
like if they wrote why they wanted to come to the United States or immigration paperwork, probably a better term.
Yeah.
Um, but whether or not that's in here, that I'm not sure, but Tom's probably right that it probably might be in Heritage Quest somewhere.
Yeah. It sounds like it would be a
Um,
fun digging project to
yes.
do.
I will say if you email us about genealogy questions, unless it's actually about like how the database works, we're
Mhm.
probably going to send you to the Historical Society, because digging that stuff up and knowing where to find that stuff is more their deal than ours. Um,
And as far as like, what's the funding source for all of these databases and ebooks? Is it federal or some state or a combination?
um, as like on just even here, if it has this IMLS stamp on it,
Ah,
that's
okay.
federal funding that's paying for that.
Yeah, that's the Institute for Museum and Library Services for
Yes.
all of you folks out there. It's, yeah, the primary grant making agency
Yes.
for museums and libraries.
Yeah. Some of them, I don't know. But the state library as a whole gets funding from from federal and from state. budgets. So, but I don't know exactly, except for that the symbols on here, exactly where
Yeah, it's,
all the money comes from.
yeah, it looks like it's a combination.
Yes.
Because every state library kind of does it a little differently. And
Yes.
ours uses, as far as what I've been told anyway, is that a lot of the IMLS funds that come in is used for this so that everybody in the state has, equal access to all this information. Whereas
Yes.
other states will have like a grant process where you can apply for using some of that federal money for other projects that are specific to your
Mhm.
library. So this is kind of nice because I think it's
Yeah.
it spreads it out a little bit better.
Yes. And I mean, that way, I mean, somebody in very rural area, they have the exact same
Mhm.
options as people here in Topeka and Lawrence and Kansas City Metro. I mean,
Yeah.
having that equal access really is what we've been pushing for.
Mhm.
Um just I don't know.
And
I don't
can you
Yeah.
only use this with like a Kansas IP address, or if you're like out of town and have your state library card, can you still access it?
Yes. I mean,
Okay.
if you're that that's going to be that login that you got to get
Okay.
to this page.
Okay.
So once if you get that page and you log in, it's no longer going to look at that IP to see
Okay.
where it is. You've signed in. We know that you are well, should reside in Kansas, whether you're there or not. So
Okay.
all of this, if you can go travel, go read your books, keep doing your research no matter where you are.
Any other questions? It's a lot to take in.
Yes.
But yeah, I think it's been nice to kind of really dive into this particular square on our digital library
Yes.
page. So
Yeah. And this is just the smallest scratch into it. There's
yeah.
so much more.
Yeah, I know things like the state data center where there's just unbelievable amounts of statistics if you need any sort of demographic information
Yeah.
or anything like that.
Yeah. Just having all the government information,
Mhm.
how to get your local, state, and legislature and federal stuff all in one. Um, I I like that.
Yeah. And Shelley is asking, can you repeat the password order again?
Okay, 2 digits for the month, 2 digits for the day, and 4 digits for the year.
And is there a slash mark in between?
No,
So
no
nothing.
slashes, dashes, or spaces.
Okay, there you go. I put it in the
Yes.
chat. Okay, good. All right. Um, wonderful. Any other questions? Well, thank you so much, Katie. Gosh, this was
Yeah.
just wonderful. We just really appreciate it because I know that you all could have obviously know this stuff backwards and forwards, so it's great to have your expertise available to us. And our next session is actually next month in January. The date is January 10th. We normally do this on the first Thursday of the month, but because of the new year, we're going to do it on the 10th. And oh, I'm sorry, I take that back. It's the 9th. I lied. Because the 10th is a Friday. It's a Thursday, the 9th. And the topic is Facebook basics. Ben Trickey, who is one of our newest members of our marketing team and is just hugely capable on social media, will be teaching that. So stay tuned. You can wow your grandkids with all sorts with your Facebook knowledge after you take that class on January 9th. That's a Thursday, 4 o'clock. So All right, well, we will let you go. And again, many thanks. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. That was wonderful.
You're all